Hey guys, Michael here. Apple announced today, and today is March 12th, 2009. Apple announced today that on March 17th, 2009, which is next Tuesday, that Apple will be publicly showing off the new features of iPhone OS 3.0. This will be the new software. Right now, we don't know what devices will support this. With the iPhone 2.0 operating system, the original iPhone was upgradable to it, and the iPhone 3G came bundled with it, if you will. We're not sure if the third generation, but not iPhone 3G, I'm talking about iPhone 3G, a new device, will only support this operating system, because of some of the things that we want to see on it would need a more powerful, better battery device. Then that's something that you'll have to take into account. But right now, we do not know if this will need, a different device. But this video is just my preview. Again, I'm not an Apple insider, so I don't know what they're going to announce on Tuesday. But these are just the features that I feel are missing from the current iPhone software, and 10 features that I think need to be put in to the next version of the iPhone operating system. So we're going to start with, you guessed it, copy and paste. I don't know how many times I've wanted to copy something from an email, copy something from a web page, paste it back into, like if it was, for example, a tracking number, if I wanted to resend a text message or just parts of it. I just wanted to quote somebody or use some information, and I couldn't because I can't copy it, so there's no way for me to use that information. Copy and paste really is a must for me. Another must is Flash support for the browser. Why doesn't it have Flash? I've used several Nokia devices. They all have Flash in their browsers. Why can't the Apple iPhone, have Flash? And if they expect to compete with the Palm Pre or the new Nokia N97 that are going to have Flash browsers, Apple needs to make a splash with their partnership with Palm or with Adobe and come out with Flash for the iPhone that's better than mobile Flash, that'll work perfectly on their hardware. It won't slow everything up, but will allow you to view that Flash content. So Flash support is a huge thing for me. Also important is multitasking. When you think about it, you can only really do one thing on the iPhone. If I'm in one app, I don't have another app in the background. So if I want to watch a YouTube video or listen to it in the background while I use a different app or check my email, I can't do that. The only really thing is maybe email, you could say, that has some push notifications. Maybe iTunes. Really, the iPod is really the only thing that can play in the background if you have your music playing in the background, but that kind of lags things up, so it's something that leads me to believe multitasking, if they have that, which they need to again, compete with the Palm Pre and compete with the Nokia device, N97, they're going to need multitasking. So it's more speculation that they're going to have a new iPhone, but again, this event is just the software. Now, just the rest of it is in just the rest of my thoughts. You need to be able to edit and create Word, PowerPoint, and Excel documents. Right now, if it's an attachment, you can open them and view them. But if you on your mobile device, you need to be able to create those documents, for me at least, in a smartphone. You need to be able to create those mobile documents and edit them, and then go ahead and send them to whoever you want in attachments, or just save it on your device. So you need some sort of file management system to save it to your phone. So really, if it's a smartphone, it needs to be able to do those things. Now, another thing that's really important, the camera. The 1.3 megapixel or 2 megapixel iSight camera that's on this phone does not cut it. Once you put it onto your computer, in the iPhone environment, it looks good, but when you put it onto your computer, you realize, hey, it's not that great. So we need at least a 3 megapixel camera. Something maybe better, maybe 5. A lot of new high-end cameras, or for cameras, there's one phone that's going to be having a 12 megapixel camera on there. I'm not saying you need that. That's definitely overkill for a mobile phone. But 3 or 5 megapixels is a must. And with that, you need flash and autofocus. Don't try to cheat us. We're paying for a quality device here. We want this to last. Put in flash so you can see the picture better if it's in low light, and put in autofocus. Why? So it focuses, but also with the video recording that we also need to have. Video recording you can have, and I showed a video test a while back using Cycorder on the jailbroken iPhone with Cydia. So obviously video can be taken on here, so Apple just needs to put that in. Maybe they didn't want video recording because video would look a little dicey on their crappy camera, but you need to upgrade that camera desperately. It's a huge problem if you want this to be a multimedia device, that it's a crappy 2 megapixel camera. So they need that video recording. What they could do with their current iSight, put it on the front so you could have video conferencing between iPhones. Maybe AT&T could open that up into their entire ecosystem, and you could do it with new devices down the road. But if you were able to video chat with other iPhone users on a front-facing camera over the AT&T 3G network, that would be amazingly cool. I'm not sure how practical it would be, but it would be pretty cool. So a front-facing camera with that capability would be pretty sweet. Also, you need a landscape keyboard throughout. At least, maybe not on the home screen when you can put it in landscape and it switches. Maybe the icons won't work like that, so that's okay. But in anywhere that you can type, you should be able to rotate it to landscape and be able to type like that, so it's easier and more effective for you. If you want it, you should be able to do it. So that's just, everyone knows the landscape keyboard is there, so really it seems to me that it's just a few extra lines of code that Apple can implement so that you can have a landscape keyboard anywhere when you're entering in text. In SMS, in email, you should be able to always do that. Particularly in email or SMS, when you're sending a lot of messages. I mean, with me in email, if I'm sending out a message, I like maybe a paragraph or two. It's kind of annoying like this. I know I would be much more efficient with that landscape keyboard. So Apple, landscape keyboard. Another thing is better app management. First of all, the current screen system is a little bit flawed because, first of all, you can only have 8 screens, and also it gets pretty cluttered when you do have 8 screens. So they need some sort of better management system. I'm not exactly sure how they would do it. Maybe they could have a dock-like thing or stacks maybe in your bottom. That would be interesting, but I'm not exactly sure how they would do it, but they need to implement it somehow. Also, they need push notifications for all their apps. This is all under app management, by the way. But these apps have push notification, it was rumored that they would have it, and I think Apple may have said that they were going to put that in sometime. You need push notifications, and you need the apps, like again with multitasking, the apps should be able to run in the background if you so choose. And one other thing, maybe app management in iTunes, you could choose where it is, because it's kind of hard right now to change your apps around without just messing up the order, because if you accidentally move an app, you could take something off the page, push everything back. It's kind of frustrating. So it would be nice if you could just use your keyboard and mouse in iTunes and organize it like that. 3 letters, MMS. We need multimedia messaging. You can take pictures, hopefully higher quality pictures, and other phones like the LG Dare and probably the Nokia device and the Palm Pre, you'll be able to send multimedia messages. So you should be able to send and receive pictures, videos, sounds, whatever. Apple, put that in. I don't know what's going on here. A lot of these features you see on similar devices and even devices that are in a lower class, but for some reason Apple just hasn't implemented it. Put in MMS. 2 things left. Next, the official tethering option. There was an app called, I believe, NetShare that was on the App Store for a few hours unintentionally. Apple took it down pretty quick, but that allowed for tethering. And if you jailbreak your phone, you can tether, even though Apple says that jailbreaking may or may not violate the law. But an official tethering option right in the software for either Bluetooth or plugging it in via your connector to your computer, you should be able to tether. Whether or not AT&T supports it and charge you extra money, I don't know. But the iPhone should be able to tether, again, if they expect this to be a business class device. And my last wish for the new iPhone software is better customization. If you jailbreak your phone, you have so much customization, but if you don't, you really don't have that much. So Apple really needs to implement a system where you can personalize your home screen, maybe putting in weather or just pretty much anything you want. If you wanted to have your local weather, if you wanted to have an RSS reader pull in some things, that would be kind of interesting. Custom app icons would be really cool if you could just if you didn't like what the default one is, you could do that yourself. And maybe support themes so you could have cool backgrounds and such that you see on those jailbroken phones, but you don't necessarily see on unjailbroken phones. So that is just my top 10 wish list for the new iPhone 3.0 software. For more information, go to youtube.com/therevived one and please subscribe. Take care, guys.